a little easier to see. If you want to change font, you change font the same way you would change it for anything else. You can go in and change font here. But you would change the font. Highlight the table, change the font. If you want to change column widths, you can go up here and change it. If you go here, if you notice a double arrow, if you go to the double arrow and double click, it'll make it just so your numbers fit in. Or just so the column is the width you need it to be, to fit things. Okay. All I did was I go till I saw the double arrow. Make this a little bigger for you to see. I went until I saw a double arrow here, and I double clicked. You can drag this out to be sizes you want it to be. Another thing you may want to do, and this is back under layout tools, which is what we're going to look at, layout tools. You can auto fit contents, which would mean it would adjust the entire table to just fit the size you need. You can distribute columns and rows evenly. That means it'll make them be all the same. You can also adjust where you want data to appear. If you look, I've messed it up a little bit. I need this to be a little bigger, so I'm going to where I have the double arrows and double clicking, and it fits it automatically, so elective 2 fits in there. Okay, this is great and good. I now know what my scores are. Now there are other things you can do here. There's a table properties that'll let you go in. You have alignment tools here, which you can align in the center of your page. You can align it to the right. You can align it to the left. You can have text that wraps around graphics or doesn't go around it. You can set rows of heights. You can decide whether you have a row that breaks across pages, which means that part of the information can be on one page, part can be on the other page. You can set preferred widths. You can tell it where you want the cell to line up, in the center or at the bottom. You have the idea of cell margins. So if you go into cells, you can set margins. So you can give it top, bottom, left, or right if you want to try and fit things. You can also tell it to wrap text, which means that once it gets to the end of the box, it'll go around and add more spaces so you can add more text. Or fit text means it will shrink the text when it's too big. Now, this is all good and well, except I didn't leave any room to put in averages. So I'm going to go to insert a row below, but look, I was in the wrong spot and inserted it in the wrong place. You need to go down here, your last row, or wherever you want to insert below. I'm also going to want to add another column because I want an average for, so you can insert a column right or to the left. We want to go to the right. Okay. This is going to be average, and this is going to be average. Now, Word has a neat thing called formula. If you look, it can give you the sum, but you have another choice. Where it says sum, you can type in the word average, and if you click OK, it will now average everything you wanted. If you wanted to add it all out, you could add it all out. You have different formats that you can use. You can have it count, you can have it define, you can have different things. The most you're going to probably want to do is sum and average. If you want to get fancier than that, when we get to Excel, is a lot easier to get fancier. And when I type in average and it has above, it'll actually average. You go over here to formula, it's under table tools, layout, formula. And basically it's equals, average, and then you go above. Which means it's going to take all the numbers above it that are not in the header row. Now here we can do the same thing. Only what are we going to want it to average? We're going to click formula, so we can add a formula. We want it to average the things to the left. Now you have to go to formula right now to add this. There's something else you can do. We're not going to get into that, because if you just try and add the actual text, and I copied it so it would be faster. If you just go and try to add the actual text, That's all it's going to do. It's just going to put in what you type. So if you go in, you have to go into formula to do this. So if we were looking at this right here, your GPA would be a 3.5 if you averaged all your years together. Formulas save you from doing the math. In here, in Word, it will not adjust if you go back and change the numbers. When we get to Excel, Excel will automatically adapt. Word is just simplified. Are all your numbers correct before you do the average? Because here, look what happens if I change the number here. It doesn't change this number here. There's no way 3 plus 10 plus 3 averages out to 2.67. So you want to make sure your numbers. This is just a simple form to do. You also have a sort feature. You can decide which column you want it from. You can do it in column 1 and do it by type of text. You could do it by column 6th grade, and let's see if you wanted to do it by 6th grade. Notice how it moves all your numbers. Again, this is a very simple feature on Word. It isn't meant to do what Excel does. This is just to do a quick table in Word. You're not going to want to use this for calculations or for budgets or things that are going to change in the numbers. Last thing is, well, you can take a table, convert it to text, and now it's text. There's no tables, no cells. Notice I can't get into a table box up here or anything else. It still is in columns, but if I were to move things, if you notice, it added tabs where each of my columns were, little left tabs. Okay. Now if I wanted to, I could highlight this, and I can go to Insert, Tables, and I can do Convert Text to Table. It's going to use tabs, and there it is again. So you can take information you have, set it up in a table. You can take tables that you have and convert them back into text, depending on what you need it for. We've just hit some table basics. There's a lot more you can do. If you split a cell, just so you can see what it does, puts it in there, you can tell it how many columns you want in that one cell. And you can split a cell different ways and add more cells. You can merge cells, which means you put a bunch of cells together. Hold on. So if we wanted to merge all these cells, merge means that they run into all one. You can go back and split it. Okay. We could even draw in another line to add a table, add a cell. So there's a lot you can do, but this will at least get you started on what you need to do. Have a good night.